Thanks for going another mile with me, Joel Heitkamp, here at KFGO.com. My message today is basically a question of you, the people that come to KFGO.com, to kind of take all this in and get your take on one simple question. One question that I have for you. It's very, very basic. Who do you trust? Who do you trust? Who do you go to get your advice from? If I were about to need to have my motorcycle fixed, you know where I'd go? I'd either go to Stutzman Harley Davidson or I would go to my buddy Kelly Klosterman. If I were to go and need advice on appliances, I'd go to a former brother-in-law that I know pretty well. If I were to get advice on where to put some money, where to invest, I'd go to a current brother-in-law that I have pretty well and I consider one of my best friends. That's where I go for advice. If I'm going to get advice on marriage, am I going to go to somebody that's been married for 50 years? Or been married 6 different times? Okay, now let me ask you this. Where would you go for advice when it comes to how to fix the federal budget? How to make sure that the federal budget comes under control? Would you go to an individual that filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy? Bette Grande wants you to. That's what Bette Grande wants you to do. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Now, is that news or not? You're not going to hear that reported tomorrow in any of the print newspapers. Because you know what? That's partisan. That's wrong to say because Joel Heitkamp is a Democrat and she's a Republican. So you can't go about saying that. And what does that have to do with anything anyway? Well, you know what? I come from a background where we pay our bills. You can stumble. You can fall. You might come a little late on your property taxes. You might come a little short on what you owe the IRS, and you might have to call a relative or a friend or a sister to get yourself off your feet when it comes to a down payment. Hell, been there, done that. But I'll tell you what, I paid my bills. I absolutely paid my bills. Didn't happen when it come to Bette Grande. She filed bankruptcy, and now she's running as a social and fiscal conservative that's going to straighten America's checkbook because she's a mama grizzly. Her words, not mine. Just go to YouTube and check it out. What I'm asking you is that where you're going to go to solve the nation's fiscal problems? To a person that was willing, and I want to quote this, was willing to make sure and take away a windfall dollar amount sent to the veterans home, the money through a will sent to the veterans homes to benefit veterans, to make their lives a little bit better. She tried to cut that out of their budget. But she loves our veterans. Just loves our veterans. Go get them. Then also tries to take the veterans off their very own investment board. I'm not voting for her for Congress. If you do, it's your mistake. If you want to call this an ad, you can call it anything you want. But I'll tell you what I said's the truth. This is somebody who wants to give me fiscal advice that filed bankruptcy and wanted to take money away from veterans. And that doesn't meet the threshold of what we in North Dakota elect as a congresswoman. Thanks for going another mile. We'll see you down the trail.